Living with a Corgi taught me this. The shorter the legs, the bigger the personality. This video explores the weird, funny realities of living every day with an extremely chubby Corgi. But the most unexpected detail only appears at the very end. So make sure you watch everything. Living with a Corgi slowly reveals something unexpected about how personality ignores physical size completely. At some point, you realize this dog doesn't behave like a pet. It behaves like a person. What happens when a dog starts forming opinions instead of simply reacting commands? Daily routines stop feeling normal once the Corgi begins responding with attitude and intention. The strangest part isn't that the Corgi thinks like a human, but that you start adjusting accordingly. Over time, the Corgi starts shaping decisions simply by being present and unreasonably confident. It never demands control, yet somehow influences timing, space, and attention inside the house. When did following a dog's mood quietly replace following your own original plans? Nothing feels forced. The Corgi just waits until everything naturally shifts around it. You don't notice the change immediately, but eventually the Corgi isn't adapting to life. You are. After you accept its personality, another pattern emerges quietly, changing how authority feels inside the home. The Corgi never rushes, never pushes, yet somehow always ends up exactly where decisions happen. How does a dog with no urgency still manage to control the pace of everything? There's no struggle, just a calm presence that naturally reorganizes the environment. Eventually, you realize leadership wasn't taken by force. It was quietly handed over without resistance. Over days, the Corgi's stillness begins setting boundaries, teaching everyone when movement suddenly feels unnecessary. It chooses spots deliberately, occupying doorways, corners, or sunlight as if marking authority without effort today, quietly. Why does everyone pause before moving, waiting for permission that was never actually spoken there first? Nothing is announced. The room simply recalibrates itself around a confident, unmoving center point. The twist is realizing leadership didn't arrive dramatically. It settled quietly and never left once inside your home. Now the focus shifts to confidence, where size stops mattering and perception quietly takes control. Outdoors, the Corgi moves like nothing can challenge it, despite gravity, obstacles, or obvious limitations. How does such a low dog project certainty that feels taller than everything surrounding it? Every step feels intentional, as if the ground should adjust to accommodate confidence itself. Somehow everything else adjusts first, while the Corgi never changes pace at all. The Corgi doesn't rush through space. It lets the space quietly accept its presence first. Out here, confidence isn't loud or fast. It's slow enough that nothing feels worth challenging. When did certainty stop coming from size and start coming from simply standing there? No adjustment happens. The Corgi remains steady while the surroundings subtly fall into place. Later it becomes clear the confidence never expanded outward. It compressed everything else instead. At this point, subscribing is probably the least weird decision you'll make today. After all that confidence, the tone shifts again toward moments where absolutely nothing seems to happen. The Corgi sleeps deeply, not hiding, not retreating, but completely unconcerned with surroundings. Its body relaxes fully, stretched out, exposed, as if safety was never a question. What kind of certainty allows a creature to rest this openly, without checking anything first? The surprise is realizing the sleep isn't vulnerability. It's confidence that nothing needs attention. Nothing changes visually, yet the sleep feels intentional, like a statement rather than absence itself there. Time slows around the Corgi, because uninterrupted rest subtly reorganizes priority without effort at home daily. If nothing moves, why does this quiet stillness feel authoritative instead of passive here now? Breathing remains steady. The room waits, as though interruption would be inappropriate right now. The twist is realizing sleep isn't downtime. It's control expressed by refusing urgency entirely here. Then everything escalates when the Corgi suddenly starts barking at dogs twice its size. There's no hesitation, no warning, just immediate noise directed confidently upward at giants. Volume replaces logic. Posture stiffens, chest forward, convinced this is a fair confrontation. At what point did size stop registering as relevant information inside this tiny dog? The bigger dog barely reacts, yet the Corgi commits fully like the outcome is guaranteed. Nothing is being defended. This feels personal, emotional, and strangely non-negotiable. The confidence looks absurd, but it's delivered so seriously that doubt briefly disappears. At no point does a Corgi act like this situation requires courage at all. Eventually, the noise disappears, and something quieter takes over the dynamic entirely. The Corgi stops moving and simply looks, holding eye contact longer than feels normal. There's no demand, just a steady stare that waits without blinking or urgency. Why does doing nothing suddenly feel more persuasive than barking or moving at all? The twist is realizing the Corgi never asked for anything, yet you already responded. You'll catch yourself breaking eye contact first, like you're the one being evaluated today again. So why does that quiet stare make you change plans faster than any command ever could? The Corgi barely moves, just blinks once, and the room suddenly feels like its territory. You think you're ignoring it, then you notice your feet already heading the way it wants. By the end, the Corgi hasn't negotiated anything, yet you've still given something up quietly. Living with a Corgi slowly reframed how I understand control, confidence, and presence inside everyday life. None of these moments were dramatic, yet together they quietly reshape how the house operates. The Corgi never tried to dominate. It simply existed, and everything else adjusted naturally. What surprised me most wasn't the behavior itself, but how easily I adapted without questioning it. That's when I realized this video isn't about dogs, but about influence without force.